Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lah wa may yudlilhu fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli, amma ba'. Alhamdulillah, all praises be to Allah. We praise Him. We ask for His help. We ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the wickedness of ourselves and from the badness of our deeds. Whoever been given guide by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then nobody can misguide him. And whoever being misguided by Allah, then nobody can be guided for him. I bear witness there's no God except Allah, only Him, no associate for Him. And I bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger and His servant. O Allah, give good prayer upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, as you have been given to Abraham and the family of Abraham. O Allah, please bless upon upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, as you have blessed upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. Verily, you are most praises, well-being. You are most eligible for praises and also abundant in gift. Today, inshallah, we will continue with our topic. Then, today is for the fourth summarization. For summary from the summarization of honoring knowledge. Last time, the third summary was about gathering your determination upon learning, upon gathering the knowledge. So today, inshallah, we have the fourth topic, page number 17, Al-Ma'qidir Rabi'u, fourth summary, Sarful himmati fihi ila ilmil Quran wa sunnati, diverting the determination in knowledge to the knowledge of Quran and the Sunnah. Diverting all your determination in knowledge to the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah, because this is the first part of the most critical thing for you, because the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah is actually will be the guide for you in this world and be the reason for you to happy in hereafter. He said here, Inna kulla ilmin nafi'in maradduhu ila kalamillahi wa kalami rasulihi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Verily, every knowledge that is beneficial, the benefit for you, its reference is actually to the words of Allah and the words of His Prophet, His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every knowledge that is actually beneficial and actually giving you good in this life, reference referred to the Quran and the Sunnah, to the words of Allah and the words of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa baqil ulum, and other knowledge, remaining knowledge after that, is actually either imma khadimun lahuma, either servant or helping towards the Quran and Sunnah. Fayukhadu minhu ma yatahaqqaqu bihil khidmatu, then it will be taken from the knowledge whatever can be established with it, the service towards Quran and Sunnah. Aw ajnabiyun, anhuma, or the knowledge is actually alien or foreign from the Quran and Sunnah, fala yadurul jahlu bihi, then it will not harm, will be a harm for you to not knowing it. Means that anything that concerning good toward human being, give benefit to them, then it's actually either it is from Quran and Sunnah, or helping whatever Quran and Sunnah is actually telling you to do, like medicine, because in the Quran and Allah Ta'ala said, ati Allah ati Rasul, wa ma atakum Rasul fakhudhu, obey Allah and obey Rasul. And the Prophet ﷺ say to us, telling us that inna Allah anzala da wa anzala ma'ahu dawa. Allah Ta'ala, Allah send down disease, and send down with the disease its medicine, or its cure. Fatadaw ya ibadallah. Then, oh servant of Allah, cure yourself. Wala tadaw bil haram. Don't ever cure yourself with something that is haram. So the Prophet ﷺ, by his living, when he was alive, he was showing to us to what recorded by the companion of Prophet ﷺ, that he didn't ever left out whatever is actually beneficial from the knowledge that will help establishing service towards what Allah Ta'ala command and want us to do, like the usage of any techniques or any things that beneficial for us, such as in agricultural, because Prophet ﷺ did say to the companion, his companion, when he saw them fertilizing the dates tree, whenever the time when the flower came out, so the Prophet ﷺ saw them hitting the flower to each other to make sure that the fruit will become better after that, become abundant. So the Prophet ﷺ say to them, why didn't you all left it out like that only? Because Allah Ta'ala did send the wind and few insects or even birds to make the pollination happen. So the Prophet just asked them like that. So after that, the second year, when they didn't do the pollination by hitting each other, the flower of the dates, so the dates that come after in harvesting after that, so little, not really abundant like before. So they asked the Prophet ﷺ. He said that they said that you told us not to do. The Prophet didn't say not to do. The Prophet just asked them, why didn't you left it like that only? That's the understanding. So the Prophet ﷺ asked them, then they thought that it's actually forbidden, so they didn't do it. And after the next year, they start to ask the Prophet. They said that if the fruit doesn't come very good this year, so the Prophet he's saying that is what we use right now in our whole life concerning our way of life, that is not conflicting with the religion, something that is in our life, like air condition, lighting, fan, electrical, so everything. So the Prophet said to them, antum a'lamu bi umur dunyakum, antum a'lamu bi umur dunyakum, you all actually well versed about the matter of your life. So from that we know that anything that will help our life, Islam doesn't ever stop it from progressing. Anything that good from the way of harvest, agricultural, or anything that concerning modernization in our life, the Prophet ﷺ or Islam doesn't ever stop it, and the thing will become helper for us, like the modernization of transportation, helping us to arrive early at any destination we want. Even some of it helping the Hajj, the pilgrimage, the one who go to pilgrimage, like in Malaysia, before the creation of aeroplane, all of us going to Hajj to Mecca by sea route, and it take a very long time, around 3 to 6 months, 3 months, 1 month. The journey is so harsh. But now when you use the aeroplane, when Allah Ta'ala give the knowledge to us to copy from birds how they fly, and start to thinking about how we can use the creation of Allah in the birds. So after that, we managed to make aeroplane and make it easy for us to arrive at Mecca around 13 hour only. 13 hour only we arrive at Mecca, at Jeddah from Kuala Lumpur. So that is actually cutting the distance furthermore. So everything that is actually beneficial, then it is from among things that will help the word of Allah and the word Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So we learn from it whatever can give us benefit in continuing or achieving or establishing a service towards Allah and the words of Allah and the word of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But other than that, any knowledge that other than that is not from Quran and Sunnah, and doesn't help whatever in the Quran and Sunnah to establishing anything towards the Quran and Sunnah, then it's actually something that is actually doesn't harm you if you doesn't know it. You don't know it, it's actually it will not harm you. From among the knowledge is actually what entered into the world of Islam, the philosophy, such as the philosophy, the way of thinking of the philosopher of the old time, like Aristotle, Plato, and any one of them, that suggesting to us the way of thinking, the way of knowing the truth, that sometimes conflicting with the way that Allah Ta'ala and the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam show us. Even in understanding, knowing your God, in following the philosophy, you will go against whatever being said by Allah and the Rasul. So this type of knowledge is actually something that will not harm you if you doesn't know it. You don't know about it, it's actually okay. Like being said by Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah about ilmu mantiq or ilmu logic, the way of thinking, logic by the way of philosopher. They use the way of thinking, the set of way of thinking about the truth. They've been making a formula about that. Even some of it is actually just for debating, usage of words for debating, how to debate others, even though you are wrong, how to debate others, and you will prevail in your debate. That is what say as mantik, the way of talking, such as right now in our Islamic world right now, when we say about bid'ah, innovation in religion, we know that the innovation being meant there is concerning the akidah, the ibadah. Two things, most of it is about that. Means that anything that being innovation in the way of worshipping Allah, other than the way that Prophet ﷺ told us. So that is actually not supposed to be done. So when we try to make people realize about that thing is wrong, certain people will go into deeper debate by saying, what is the meaning of bid'ah? So what the Prophet ﷺ didn't do, the companion didn't do, they know it didn't been done before. Or the way of thinking, the way of knowing Allah Ta'ala through the philosophy is known because the Prophet ﷺ teach his companion enough knowledge about Allah. You don't need other foreign knowledge to understand the Quran and the Sunnah. But the problem is, right now, people start to debate about like the word bid'ah. What is the meaning of bid'ah? The Prophet ﷺ did show us. He doesn't let his companion to do something that is not being told by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. And by his saying, kullu bid'atin dalalah, every innovation in religion is actually misguided, astray from the truth. This is direct saying about that. But when the philosophy entered into Islam, certain people still want to do things that not being told by the Prophet, but they want to debate about it. Like these days, we hear some of the universities lecturers saying that even though the hadith is fabricated, but the deeds or the amal being done following that fabricated hadith is not fabricated. Something that is contradicting, because Islam is not based on whatever you think is good, but Islam is anything that Allah Ta'ala want you to do and the Prophet SAW told you to do, not whatever you think is good, because this is the way of this Sharia, because Allah Ta'ala sent to us the book Al-Quran and sent with the book the Prophet SAW, so that Prophet SAW can explain to us whatever inside the kitab, inside the Quran. He said here in Surah Al-Nahl, Surah B, Surah Al-Nahl or B, verse number 44. Allah Ta'ala said there, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ, and we send down to you, O Muhammad, al-dhikr in the Quran, لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ, so that you will explain to the people what being sent down to them. The Quran, so you explain it to them. So other than explanation of the Prophet ﷺ, for the religion is not supposed to happen here. But the problem is, whenever the foreign knowledge being sent into us, even certain people say that if you don't know mantik, you don't know the philosophy, you cannot understand the dalil. There's something that is really wrong, because the dalil is there, being practiced by the companion of the Prophet ﷺ and the tabi'in after them, without any conflicting, without any problem. The problem happen when people start to take foreign knowledge that is actually try to disclose or is saying that discover the secret of the dalil, saying that the dalil have a secret. So in the end, you didn't see the amal, you see only the talking. Okay. He said here, وَمَا أَحْسَنَ قَوْلَ عَيَدْ الْيَحْسُبِ فِي كِتَابِهِ إِلْمَعْ. Oh, and he said here, really beautiful, what being said, the saying of Iyad bin al-Yahsubi, Iyad al-Yahsubi, in his book Al-Ilm. He said, when he said here, he actually a poem, recite the poem. Those people before us, many of them so poetic in India. They're saying, when they say something, they say it in the sense of instead of giving a rhythm in their saying, so that it's actually become beautiful and can be we say memorized by others. He said here, Al-ilmu fi aslaini la ya'huma illa al-mudillu 'an at-tariq al-lahibi, ilmu al-kitab wa ilmu al-athari allati qad usnidat 'ala tabi'in an sahibi. So you see the rhythm there. He said, Al-ilmu fi aslaini la ya'duhuma. Knowledge is actually in the two origin, means that Quran and Sunnah. La ya'duhuma, it didn't galap, run away from the two. Illa al-mudillu anit tariqi lahibi, except the misguider, thing that will misguide from the clear road. Lahib means clear, open. Lahibi, open and clear road. Means that anything that will pass in is actually passing towards the misguide from the open road. Ilmul kitab wa ilmul athari allati, ilmul kitabi wa ilmul athari allati, the knowledge of kitab and the knowledge of athar. Athar means that anything being remnant or anything that you find from the Prophet, from the companion, from those who learn from the companion of Prophet ﷺ, is called athar. Even hadith can be called athar. Means that ilmul kitab, knowledge of the kitab, and knowledge of the athar. Allati, that qad usnidat anit tabi'in and sahabin. That being known or being say here, being traced back. Usnidat can the original meaning is rely. means that you get the story from who. So you said usnidat. So can be traced back. Ilmu kitab wal athar allati qad usnidat, that can be traced back from tabi'in, those who met the sahabah, and sahabin, from the sahabah. So anything that is the way you understand the religion. We understand the religion. That is the way of Islam, the ways of Salaf, the way that everybody should understand the religion, because the religion is complete, like being said in the third ayat of Surah Al-Ma'idah. The Allah Ta'ala said, Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. Today, I have already completed for you your religion. Wa atmamtu alaikum min ni'mati. I fortified and enough, make it enough for you, my bestow or my giving. Wa raditu lakum al-Islam madina, and I please Islam as your religion. So when that ayat being said by the Prophet, being recited by the Prophet SAW in around 85 or 93 days before his death in the Hajjatul Wada, on the day of Arafah, the Prophet recite that ayah, saying that in front of the companion of the Prophet. So the Prophet died after 2 months after that, because the Prophet died in Rabiul Awal. So the Hajj is on Zulhijjah, Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awal, 12 Rabiul Awal. So that is among the last ayat being recited by the Prophet SAW to his companion. So if we look at it, the religion is already completed. So you don't have to make it more, being improvised more than what being told for you to do. Other than that, from among your life, you want to go to the mosque, either you want to walk, you want to ride, you want to drive a car, you want to do anything, you can do it, because the Prophet SAW and Allah Ta'ala doesn't limit you what transportation you have to use going to the mosque, or when you want to wear your clothes, what clothes you have to wear. You have to cover your aura, but what type of garment, what type of thread you want to use on your garment, doesn't ever the religion come and want to command you to anything about that. So that's why he said here, anything that other than the knowledge of Kitab and Sunnah is actually the way of astray, to make people astray from the truth. Then the knowledge from Quran and the knowledge from Athar, that is the one that really knowledge for you in this world. Like we said, other than that helping, yes. Other than that, like the philosophy, we don't need it. Because some people, they say that we need the philosophy of prayer, the philosophy of everything. You don't need the philosophy, because really from the start, when you pray, you have to know that you pray because you are a servant of Allah, not because you know the secret or the wisdom beside of the deeds that you have to do. Any obligation like fasting, paying alms or zakah, going to Hajj, prayer, everything that Allah told you to do, you will do it because of Allah, not because of others. Even though you know that Allah Ta'ala is really making everything you do must have wisdom behind it. Allah Ta'ala all together wise. Nobody can be wiser than Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala. And when He give you that command, He know why and why not. Why you have to do, why you must not do. So that's why you don't ever in religion try to understand or find any knowledge other than the Quran and the Sunnah, or what you say from the Salaf. وَقَدْ كَانَ هَذَا هُوَ عِلْمُ السَّلَفِ. This was the knowledge of the Salaf. Salaf alayhim rahmatullah upon them, the mercy of Allah. When we say Salaf, I think in our last class before the first book that we completed, we did told you about who is Salaf. Salaf is the word being used as those who already passed before us, Salaf. But in our religion, in Islam, in learning fiqh, in learning the Aqidah, the word Salaf is actually being said to those people who actually from three generation. The first generation that the first 100 years that the Prophet was in it, yeah? And the second one, the Tabi'in and the Tabi'in. So the companion Prophet, because the Prophet ﷺ said in his saying, Khairul Qurun Qarni, the best generation is my generation. The best generation is my generation. Thumma alladhina yalunahum, then after them. Thumma alladhina, then after them. So because the Prophet said that like that, so our scholars try to find out why the Prophet ﷺ said it like that, and doesn't say all the time is good, but the Prophet ﷺ said those are the best generation among my followers. The best generation of among the followers of the Prophet ﷺ is the first generation, the second and the third. And when we study about that, we see that the first generation, their ibadah or their akidah, their beliefs, is so plain and doesn't have any interfere from philosophy or even becoming more complicated. Like we right now in Malaysia, when we start to learn about Allah Ta'ala, people will say to us to memorize 20 sifat or 20 attributes of Allah, wujud, kidam, baqa and everything. But in explaining about that, because in the Quran and Sunnah, we see that Allah Ta'ala didn't explain about himself just by that 20 attributes, or 13, actually 13. The 7th one is actually concerning the way of thinking by the philosophy. Because when you say kaunuhu qadiran, kaunuhu muridan, kaunuhu aliman, means that he is in the state of, they said in the state of hayyan, in the state of sami'an. It said that in the state. The first one, they said that Allah Ta'ala exists. It actually doesn't have any beginning, and actually doesn't have any ending. And after that, actually he actually not being compared with his creation. That's what is actually being compiled by certain scholars, actually when they are against those who actually following the thought of Mu'tazilah. So that's why the thing is so limited. Even though in the Quran and Sunnah you see the so abundant, then Allah Ta'ala explain about himself. He's merciful, it's not mentioned there. He's actually loving, it's not mentioned there. He also actually get revenge for his people, or the people of his beloved people. He get the revenge. It's not mentioned there. The 20 attributes is not there. Not a single mention about it. So when we learn about this, the way of the philosophy, people actually doesn't have that really true understanding of Allah. Doesn't know their God. That's why most people that we see in the end astray, saying that Allah inside his clothes, Allah is actually with me, Allah is everywhere, even inside me. He said something like that. Even some of them doesn't pray. Starting from that learning, we learn to know Allah Ta'ala, to worship him, not to learn to know Allah Ta'ala, and in the end we doesn't follow the teaching of the Prophet SAW. That is the thing that sometimes we don't understand why people still going towards it, even though we know that many of those who astray in Malaysia, the one who say that I'm a new prophet, the person say that I actually can contact the prophet right away right now. When you learn about them, you learn about what their belief. They are actually using the philosophy way of thinking about Allah. They didn't follow the way of the companion Prophet ﷺ. That's why in the time of the companion Prophet, the Tabi'in, and after that, you don't ever find the thinking about like what you say right now. thinking about why Allah Ta'ala give us such at the end of the time of the prophet, companion of prophet, a person named Ma'bad al-Juhani. Ma'bad al-Juhani. When you learn the hadith about Islam, Iman and Ihsan, Islam, Iman and Ihsan, when the Archangel Jibril came to the Prophet asking about three things, the starting of the hadith, if you learn in a Sahih Muslim, those people from Iraq, they came to the companion Prophet Abdullah bin Umar, asking about a person saying that they doesn't believe in Qadar. They said that Qadar is not there. Means that Allah Ta'ala doesn't make any predestined writing about us, what will happen today or tomorrow. Because they come to a logic that if the thing being written, so why should we be at fault if we do something that being written by Allah? So this saying doesn't ever came up among the companion of Prophet, among the student of the companion of Prophet ﷺ. Doesn't ever. Because we know Allah Ta'ala have already written everything. But we not being asked to uncover whatever being written. Upon us is actually prayer. Allah Ta'ala for a better life for us, a better ending for us. And doing everything that Allah Ta'ala told us to do. So that's the way of their life. But those who come after them, they start to asking, keep asking, and nothing will be done. Nothing will be done. They're just conflicting. If this, like this, whatever happen. If something like this, whatever happen, what will happen? So why Allah Ta'ala do this? Why Allah Ta'ala do that? You don't ever can ask Allah Ta'ala whatever He do. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran said, La yus'alu amma yaf'al. Allah doesn't ever being asked whatever He do. Anything He do, nobody can ask Him. Because that is the status or the place of Allah. Will not be asked whatever He do. He give some people poor, some people rich. A certain person being born complete. A certain person born actually defect, not complete in his limb, or doesn't have a sight or cannot talk. Something that really Allah Ta'ala will do it and nobody can say why. That is the knowledge of the companion of Prophet ﷺ. So we just continue to amal, continue to seek the favor of Allah. Allah Ta'ala pleased with us, not to question whatever happened in this world, and after that lefting the amal, you don't do anything. That's what happened after the companion of Prophet ﷺ. Even at that time, the Mu'tazilah at that time, they still pray five times a day, even though they actually wrong in thinking about Allah, but they still pray. Now our time right now in our country, such as or others, people are talking about knowing Allah, say that Allah Ta'ala, I think Allah Ta'ala like this, like that, and after that they will not pray. Some of them doesn't fasting, and some of them actually drinking liquor, drinking intoxicated drinks, and saying that is not wrong. If it's wrong, then Allah Ta'ala, why Allah Ta'ala created it? The pig. Allah Ta'ala created the pig. So why? He keep asking why, but doesn't follow the rules that Allah Ta'ala have given to them. This is a problem. Too many talking, not really knowledge. So the knowledge of the Salaf, those who actually from the companion of Prophet ﷺ, companion Prophet, after them the Tabi'in, and after that the Tabi'in. This is the time you will see among them actually the Tabi'in. You will see Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, Ahmad bin Hanbal, Abu Hanifah. You see them there. Actually the Tabi'in, you see Sa'id Musayyab, Abdullah bin Barak, Hasan al-Basri, Sufyan al-Thawri, Sufyan ibn Uyaynah. The companion Prophet, you know them. So those three generations is actually those who actually doesn't ever make innovation in religion, either in the ibadah, in the way of worship Allah, or in understanding the akidah. Never ever. But after that, after the expansion of the empire of Islam, than the those people which are actually in the kingdom of Roman kingdom and the kingdom of Persian kingdom. They become Muslim, but some of them is not really Muslim inside his heart. So he still have the residue of the understanding before. So they didn't embrace Islam totally. So they keep on adding Islam towards, try to mix up between Islam and whatever they believe before that. So that's the why when he said here, that is the way of ilmu salaf. ثم كثر الكلام بعدهم فيما لا ينفع. Then after that, talking after them become abundant, become plentiful in something that is actually not beneficial. Actually, you can talk. Islam doesn't ever stop you from talking. But to question something that in the end, making you doesn't do it, then is actually, that is wrong. Like our time now, right now, in our time in Malaysia, in our time right now in this world, when we can give example, when we know everybody is actually struggling to overcome the COVID-19 right now, and we see that from among the people, some of them is giving solution, mean that solution, how to cure and everything. Other than them, people who actually not curing people, they doesn't give any explanation, any knowledge, true knowledge, but keep on spreading things that will make other people become scared. Actually, I met somebody, he took the jab of vaccination. He took, maybe because he want to go to Hajj, we go to Umrah. He know that he doesn't have that jab, he will not be allowed to enter Saudi Arabia, maybe, or maybe because he hear about the opening will be given to those who have already complete their two dose of vaccination. So he took it. But when he enter into the social media, he keep on spreading rumors and thought to make people scared. He spread about this, about that, but he doesn't give a solution. He said that I was before in UK, I learned about microorganism and everything, but he doesn't open a lab. He doesn't open a lab to overcome this problem. He doesn't do anything but keep spreading a conspiracy theory, thought about this. Everything is actually from the Jew, and everything is actually from the Illuminati. It is from the Antichrist. People start to be afraid. He took the jab. He took the vaccination jab. He said that I already took one dose because of the masalihul mursalah. He said like that. But at the same time, he making other people become afraid to take the vaccination. This type of things that we said here, the talking that doesn't give any benefit to others. If you want to give solution, give solution. Not just spreading something that you doesn't know. Even the last time when he spread, he said about he shared something about the human testing in the vaccination from the pharmaceutical company. They made human. They said that already passed third phase of human testing. Human testing in the pharmaceutical terms is actually means that they give the venison or the vaccine to a group of people, and they are taking data from them. It's not like being understood that the vaccine being given away without any testing, and after that, whatever happened become the data. That's wrong, because when the pharmaceutical company made the human trial, they took few group like before we in Malaysia, before we start giving the vaccination, actually at large scale, there are few they call the volunteer. Whoever want to volunteer to become the volunteer for that, so that the data will be taken from them. That is what being said at human testing. the group of human being taken as the data for that type of medicine. Not by right now being taught by others that now being given away. We are actually the lab rat being given to us the medicine that is actually not proven, and actually we will die. Even some of them said in 2 years, whoever took the vaccine will die in 2 years. Actually, the video is still there. Those people is actually, like we said here, the knowledge that they're spreading, the talking that you are talking, is not really solving anything. Doesn't give assurance towards other people, and they're actually making people afraid to go into the solution or the being given by the government or by the doctors. So that's actually what type of the knowledge. The same happen when you talk about ibadah, about Allah, about in Islam, something about concerning religion. The talking is not really being needed. For you to learn, actually you want to learn to practice, not to learn just the sake of knowledge. Because in Islam, everything that you learn is for you to practice. Like you learn about the salah, you learn about the wudu, you learn about the zakah. Means that you want to do it. You have to do it, not just because you want to learn and you doesn't follow what you learn. So that's why he said here, ثُمَّ كَثُرَ الْكَلَامُ بَعْدَهُمْ فِي مَا لَا يَنْفَعُ. Then after that, talking become abundant, become plentiful after them, after the salaf, on the things that is actually not beneficial. فَالْعِلْمُ فِي السَّلَفِ أَكْثَرُ. So the knowledge in the time of salaf is more. وَالْكَلَامُ فِي مَا بَعْدَهُمْ أَكْثَرُ. But the talking in those who are after them are more. The talking only. قال حماد ibn Zaid, قلت لأيوب السختياني. Hamad bin Zaid, one of the tabi'in, he said here, I said to Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani, I said to Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani, it's also among the tabi'in, al-ilmu al-yawma aktharu aw fima taqaddama. The knowledge today is more or on those who before us. Faqala, then Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani said, al-kalamul yawma aktharu. Talking today is more. Wal ilmu fima taqaddama aktharu, and knowledge on those who before are more. Today talking is more. It's the same like our time now. Really, seriously, the same condition. That talking is there, but no solution. No solution. Just talking. But actually they said that for the sake of argument, in Islam you don't try to find argument unless it's come from both of the source is from the Quran and Sunnah. Then you try to understand it by making the two dalil come together. But when you want to argue about the Quran or the Sunnah from your thinking, from your thought, and that is wrong. If there's a contradiction between two dalil, yes, we try to solve it. We try to understand it, how we can manage to make it together, not to separate it, make it together. Because some of our people right now, they have the thought that if Allah Ta'ala said something, the Prophet ﷺ said something, then the Prophet ﷺ saying must be thrown away. Because Allah Ta'ala is the one we must follow. But the problem is, like we said just now in the beginning, that Allah Ta'ala, He Himself said that وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ in Surah An-Nahl, verse number 44, and we send down An-Nahlu 44, and we send down Al-Kitab, وَنَزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ, we send down the dhikr, that is the Quran, إِلَيْكَ, to you, O Muhammad, لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ أَنُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ, so that you will explain to the people what being sent down to them. So the task being given by Allah Ta'ala to the Prophet is to explain the kitab to us. So whoever try to understand the kitab without the guidance of the Prophet, he will be astray completely. And whoever want to know what being taught by the Prophet ﷺ, he must look at the Sahabah, and the companion of the Sahabah. That's the way we want to know Islam, not by the way of thinking, by saying that Quran is for everybody. Then everybody can say anything about Quran. That is the wrong way of understanding the Quran. Understanding the command of the Prophet, the command of your God, of your Lord, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Wallahil hamd. Okay, we finished that. Our new books is actually quite simple, or quite we say so short in its wording. So not like before. Before we have around full 1 page or 2 page at one topic. But today is actually in the page is actually being scaled down around when you say that about around 3 or 4 paragraph only. So inshallah we alhamdulillah we already finished for the 4th. Inshallah next week for the 5th summary on honoring your knowledge, and we look at the question if there is question. Okay, no question. Q&A. What? Tak ada question, okay? Khair, insyaAllah. You have any question, brother? Okay. Right. So, insyaAllah, if you finish today, so remember that when you want to go, ada? Okay. Assalamualaikum. How about khalaf? Khalaf is actually whoever come after the salaf. If they following the salaf way of thinking, then we follow them. If they created a new way of thinking, a new way of thought, like what you say just now, when they start to try to understand the verse of Al-Quran, the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, by the way of thinking of the philosopher way of thinking. Because when Islam being practiced before by the companion of Prophet ﷺ, by the Prophet, doesn't ever they look into philosophy to know the saying of Allah. That is actually so ridiculous when people want to know religion from the way of the philosophy. If I can elaborate a little, like now in the Islamic nation all over the world, something is actually really, if I say ridiculous, people will say that I'm using a harsh word, but it is ridiculous. Okay, like this. You want to know Islam, you want to know the Quran and Sunnah, but some people, they went to the Western universities to know about Islam. We know that they are certain scholars of Oriental studies, those who studies the Oriental knowledge. From among the Oriental is actually Buddhism, the culture of West Eastern countries, and after that even actually the Islam, Hinduism is lump sum into what you say Oriental studies. Those who study is actually not from the origin or original people of the knowledge. Even we in Malaysia in the 60s, in the 70s, we did make the lecturers in our universities not from among the Muslim. Even they are using English in teaching Islam. This is something that I said ridiculous, because when we look at it, if you want to know Islam, you should return to the place where Islam being actually born. This is in the Arabian Peninsula. You have to learn it there, and knowing the language by it, the revelation being sent down. But the problem is when people start to go into Harvard, go into Oxford to know Islam, It's something that actually is so ridiculous because the Hindus didn't learn their religion from the Harvard, Oxford, even the Vatican, the Roman Catholic, or the scholars of Christianity. They want to learn the Christianity. They doesn't learn from Muslim. They doesn't go to the Muslim and want to learn. I want to know about my religion. The Hindus doesn't come to us. But we, at the same time, going towards them to want to learn about Islam. Saying that the philosophy in them is deeper. So deep. So that they could understand more than actually from the Prophet. From the companion Prophet SAW. This is so ridiculous. Right now, if you learn robotic, okay, if you, I can example, if you learn robotic from Japan, so anybody can come to you. I want you to work with me, because learn robotic from Japan, or learn about mechanical engineering from Germany. So people will actually say, you are actually learning from the place. But if you say that you are learning robotic from Papua New Guinea, can anybody say to you that, come, work with me? Papua New Guinea is good in robotic. So ridiculous, because right now, we Muslim actually searching for scholars from that place. If I have my teacher before, he actually from Cambridge, learning from Cambridge, but he is a scholar of Andalusia Empire. Lecturer. He is lecturer in Spain. Spain history of Islam. So it is actually right for him to go there, because he want to learn the history of European country. They actually have connection with Islam. So he can talk Italy, Spain, Arab, English, German, Germany. He can talk because he want to read every letters being sent by those people at that time. So when he learned about the history of Andalusia in Spain, so he went there and learned. Actually, I can accept that. We can accept that, because he went to learn about Andalusia. You have to go there to know the people there, the record there, not the record from China or the record from India. So that's the thing. So when you learn Islam, like I said just now, when you learn Islam, Khalaf or Salaf is not actually contradicting anything. Not contradicting anything. Except for that, if ever anybody came after the Salaf, doesn't follow the way of thinking, the way of understanding Dalil, like the Salaf, then they actually wrong. Because Allah Ta'ala have given for us in Surah At-Tawbah, verse number 100. Surah At-Tawbah, verse number 100, Allah Ta'ala said in that ayat, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ, and those who are early in entering Islam, minal muhajirin wal ansar, from among muhajirin and from among the ansar, whoever enter Islam early in accepting Islam, muhajirin and ansar, and walladhina tabauhum bi ihsan, and whoever follow them goodly, in good manners. Means that this is what Allah Ta'ala said about whoever as the muhajirin and ansar, early muhajirin, early ansar, and whoever follow them in good manners. Allah Ta'ala said, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. Allah Ta'ala already pleased with them, and they will be pleased with Allah Ta'ala gift for them in the hereafter. Wa adda lahum jannatin tajri tahta al-nahar. And Allah Ta'ala have already provided for them Jannah, actually gardens, that actually flowing under them, rivers. Khalina fiha abada, they will be inside that gardens in Jannah ever after, everlasting, abada. Dhalikal fawzul azim, that is the biggest success. If you think that you have the success, getting Jannah from Allah Ta'ala is the biggest success. But the thing that we want to say about following the Salaf, when Allah Ta'ala said, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ, and those who early in entering Islam, embracing Islam, from Muhajirin, Ansar, and whoever follow them. You have been told by Allah to follow them. follow the companion of Prophet SAW, follow the Muhajirin, follow the Ansar. Then Allah Ta'ala will give you a title that will not be given to you by others. Actually, Allah Ta'ala will say, Allah said, radiyallahu anhum. You can get in this world the title Dato or Transi or everything. You cannot get the title radiyallahu anhu, like the Prophet, companion of Prophet SAW being said, we say the name of Abu Bakar As-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, or Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu. We said Allah Ta'ala have pleased upon him. Then Allah Ta'ala give you inside that ayat, in the verse 100 of Surah At-Tawbah, that He is pleased to have whoever follow the companion of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's why when you say about khalaf, not everything. So if they have anything other than about the understanding, then the things that are outside being known by the companion of Prophet, yes, we can gather their knowledge. We can look at it. But if you said that you want to compare the knowledge of the salaf and the khalaf in akidah, in ibadah, you will not ever can compare that. You cannot compare anything like that. Okay? Wallahu a'lam. Okay. Is there any more question? No. Tak ada. Alhamdulillah. So inshallah we'll stop here. So like we said just now, this when you want to honor the knowledge, you are not honoring knowledge. So when you have determination, first determination you have to gather up, you have to divert the determination towards the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah. Actually, whatever enough for you to practice, at least for you to practice, not for you to become a scholar. No, you don't have to left out. Even some of the scholars, like we look into the history, the writer of the book, the Bible, the Quran and Science, Maurice Bucaille, the French surgeon, when before he entered Islam, he took off from his profession as a surgeon. He is a well-known surgeon. When the body of Pharaoh, the Pharaoh of Egypt, the Pharaoh of Moses, being actually found in Egypt around 1970. So the body was taken to France to be preserved, because one, the body is being exposed to air and water, to our surrounding, it will become decay. So they brought the body to France. When they arrived at France, the arrival was so majestic. They fire the gun and everything, as if they are actually accepting a visit from a king, because that the person is a king. So Maurice Bucaille, he got the privilege given to be the one who make the incision or preservation of that mumia, or the mummy of the pharaoh. But after that, the problem, he actually is so well known. But after he start to learn about Islam, and he took off from his profession as a surgeon for 10 years to learn Quran and to understand the Quran for 10 years, because he actually looking at the Muslim and saying that he actually doesn't understand why Muslims still going to pray and everything, because he was the surgeon for Malik Faisal. He actually impressed why the king at that time, the most the richest person in the world, still pray with his servant, with his bodyguard. So he thought about, maybe they didn't get what we get. We European got science, and we left out religion. We know the truth and we left out. That's why, because religion is so much things that is actually superstitious, and everything is not really correct. Not correct. So he asked from the Muslim, what is the proof of Muhammad? So they said Quran. So he said, what inside the Quran? They said inside the Quran many things about the beginning, about the end, about the heaven, about the earth, about everything, and they said about the creation of universe, the creation of human. So he said, I got my topic. I got my topic to discuss about the Quran. Because in Bible, he said there's only 6% in the Bible talking about the creation of universe, creation of human and everything. But all of it is wrong, he said. But now they said that in the Quran is abundant, plentiful verses about that. So he want to learn it. But he doesn't want to learn it from a Muslim. So he took off from his profession as a surgeon, well-renowned surgeon. He took off for 10 years learning Quran and Arabic, because he want to understand the Quran the way the Arabs understand, not the way the Muslim actually want them to understand. So after 10 years, that's the result, the writing that we know now, right now, the book, the Bible, the Quran and Science, the Bible, the Quran and Science, that is actually have to accept that Allah Ta'ala have sent down Quran, and the Quran doesn't ever contradict with any things that concerning science. That's the writing of Morris Bukai. So he took off. When I said about the beneficial for you from the Quran and Sunnah, for now, just take anything that you want to practice. While to practice, then you have to learn from the Quran and Sunnah. Make effort, have determination to know everything about the thing that you need right now when you're actually having difficulties in our life. So what Allah Ta'ala give us as assurance, as an assurance to us, to comfort us, not to make us become stressful. That is the thing that we have to learn. Learn from Quran, learn from the Sunnah. Okay. Wallahu alam. We stop here, inshallah. Inshallah, we'll continue next week. Wassallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa salamu alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Subhanaka hamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi